թույլ տվեք խոսքը փոխանցել Հայաստանում Եվրոպական միության պատվիրակության ղեկավար իմ շատ սիրելի դեսպան Պյոտր Սվիտալսկուին, համեցեք պարոն դեսպան։
Honorable Madam Chairman, honorable members of Parliament, the ministers, the ambassadors, representatives of international organizations, and most of all, the Armenian friends, citizens of Armenia. Thank you very much for giving me the opportunity to speak today at this very important forum. Indeed, this initiative is setting a very important precedent. Public hearings, public discussions on the topic of human rights are of special importance for promoting democratic culture in any country. And I'm very grateful to the initiators for organizing this event. Having this wonderful hall as the place for human rights discussion sends a powerful signal by itself. I'm very inspired by the large presence of human rights activists and ordinary citizens of Armenia who are showing their interest in this process. For the European Union, the inclusiveness of human rights discussions is a priority. We always insist that on any topic relating to human rights, being related to the legislative process or being related to the implementation process, civil society should be included, should be given the chance to express their voice. Me speaking here today, at the beginning of this discussion, is a recognition that the European Union has a role to play in our dialogue with the Armenian partners. Indeed, human rights constitute the heart of our agenda. The relationship between Armenia and the European Union is based on common shared values, and human rights are part and parcel of this notion of common values. There is a practical value of these discussions because next week we will be having our annual session, Monday in Brussels, Human Rights Dialogue with our Armenian partners, and Tuesday our regular Justice Dialogue. Very important events for us. We will be looking at our common agenda and how this common agenda has been advanced in the past months. Indeed, we are now talking about a change of paradigm in discussing human rights in Armenia. The events last year, sometimes called Velvet Revolution, sometimes called the Armenian version of the Glorious Revolution. They provide a new background for our discussion. And we look from a new angle at the human rights agenda. It doesn't mean that the problems and challenges have disappeared, because even in the most democratic societies, we are imperfect. We have a constant challenge of responding to the human rights problems and questions. We will be looking next week how this human rights agenda of ours has progressed. Indeed, 12 months may look like a short period, but people in the streets, they have every right to be impatient. They have every right to demand deliverables, to expect a change. And I believe in many respects this change has been already happening. But still, problems remain. Your agenda today is allowing to address these problems, in particular justice reform, which for the European Union is the backbone of our dialogue, but also other problems. Let me mention now three which probably do not figure so prominently on your agenda today, which are very important for the European Union. First, gender equality. women's empowerment. Armenia has been making progress. Law on domestic violence has been adopted. It was adopted before the revolution. It is now in the phase of implementation. We will be looking at how this implementation process looks like. We will be looking at the prospects for the future of improving the situation concerning domestic violence. The Istanbul Convention has been signed. We will be expecting some indication when the National Assembly will be seized with the matter and ratify the convention. We will be looking at other aspects of gender equality, which I believe for Armenia is very important. Having this meeting chaired by a lady is a sign that women can play a very important and leadership role, and we as the European Union, we expect that in every walk of life, in politics, business, you name it, women will be seen more frequently in the leadership position. The second very important area for the European Union, anti-discrimination. The philosophy of the European Union is based on a very simple truth. There cannot be second-class citizens in European societies. To tolerate doesn't mean to like, but it means to accept that people are different. But we all have the right to live a dignified life. We are equal in terms of our dignity. And we hope very much that Armenia will be making progress in this area, that the basic value inscribed in your constitution about prohibiting discrimination based on religion, ethnicity, race, or sexual orientation will be implemented, will be reflected in your legislation. I think that would be a very important sign of the commonality of values between Armenia and the rest of the European family. And the third aspect, also very important for the European Union, labor and social rights. In a country plagued by poverty, in a country plagued by disparities, income disparities, in a country plagued by high level of unemployment, this aspect of labor and social rights has been neglected, not because of political choice, but sometimes because of inability to address these issues properly. We hope very much that in the new Armenia, this aspect of labor and social rights will be properly addressed, and the standards, which we call universal standards, will be applied. This is a very important aspect of our dialogue, not only in the context of human rights, but also in the context of our trade relations, in the context of the so-called GSP Plus regime, where the conventions dealing with labor and social rights occupy a very important place. I stop here, thanking again for this opportunity and congratulating you, Madam Chairman, and the Ombudsman and our friends from the United Nations family for this wonderful initiative of having this forum today. Thank you so much.
Շնորհակալ եմ մեծարգո դեսպան